Alex, I spent 3 hours yesterday trying to convince a piece of grade 5 titanium that I was the boss of the relationship. By the end of it, the titanium was looking brand new, and my end mill looked like a crayon that had been left on a hot sidewalk.
So the scoreboard currently reads Space Age Metal 1 Tiger 0.
It wasn't even a contest, it was a mugging. But that's the thing about these high performance alloys. They don't just resist you, they actively try to melt your tools out of spite.
Well, luckily for your tool budget, today's TigerDen Daily is diving deep into how the industry is finally figuring out how to play nice with the tough stuff. We're talking titanium breakthroughs, the weird bridge between ironwork and carpentry, and how to make AI do your homework so you can actually spend time in the shop.
Plus, we're talking end grain cutting boards, which, if done wrong, is just a very expensive way to make a jigsaw puzzle that doesn't fit together.
Let's start with that titanium headache of yours. The tech world is buzzing about new metalworking fluids. Is this just fancy soap, or is there actual science keeping your bits from evaporating?
It's basically liquid engineering. See, titanium is a terrible conductor of heat. When you're cutting steel, the heat mostly hitches a ride on the chips and flies away. With titanium, the heat just sits there, right at the cutting edge like a house guest who won't leave. It just cooks the tool.
So these new fluids are like a fire extinguisher for the friction?
Exactly. They formulated these new coolants to have such high lubricity that the chip slides off before it has a chance to weld itself to your cutter. It's the difference between trying to slide down a dry plastic slide in July versus a slip and slide covered in dish soap. One leaves you with a burn, the other gets you to the bottom in record time.
Speaking of record time, Southern States Machinery just got named Trump's Rep of the Year. I'm guessing those aren't the kind of machines we're fitting into a two-car garage.
Not unless you want to park your truck on the roof. We're talking massive laser cutters and press brakes that can fold thick plate steel like it's a greeting card. But it's a sign of the times. Precision isn't a luxury anymore. It's the baseline. If you aren't hitting your marks within a thousandth of an inch, you're basically just whittling.
Okay, let's pivot from the heavy machinery to the heavy lifting. I saw something in the notes about unstacking risers. It sounds like a cardio workout, but apparently it's where the ironworkers and the woodworkers are starting to shake hands?
It's a fascinating crossover. Traditionally, you have the guys who build the skeleton, the ironworkers, and the folks who do the skin and the guts, the carpenters. But the lines are getting blurry. Unstacking risers is this classic log-moving concept in carpentry. But ironworkers are using those same spatial physics to move structural steel.
So you're saying if I can move a heavy oak log without crushing my toes, I might have a future in skyscraper construction?
Don't tell the ironworkers I said this, but the physics is the same. It's all about leverage and respect for gravity. I always tell the apprentices, keep a carpenter's log, not just for the hours, but for the how. Documenting how you solved a problem with a riser might save your neck when you're 5 stories up trying to seat a beam.
I can barely remember what I had for breakfast, Tiger. You really expect these kids to write a diary about stairs?
If you don't write it down, the lesson stays in the shop floor sweepings. A year from now, you'll be staring at a similar problem, and your brain will just give you a 404 error if you haven't archived it.
Speaking of archiving, let's talk about the maker-mogul side of things. I know you hate your phone, but apparently AI is the new shop assistant.
I have a complicated relationship with anything that doesn't have a physical power switch. But I have to admit, trying to describe the nuances of a hand-rubbed oil finish in an Instagram caption makes me want to go live in a cave.
And that's where things like Claude or Jasper come in. You give them the shop talk, the grit, the wood species, the sweat, and they turn it into something people actually want to read while they're scrolling in bed.
It's like a translator. I speak grumpy craftsman, and the AI translates it into inspirational creator. And these automation tools like CreatorFlow, if someone wants to know the price of a table, I don't have to stop mid-glue up to type out a response with sticky fingers.
I've seen your phone, Tiger. It looks like it was dipped in polyurethane.
Hey, that adds character. But seriously, for the solo makers out there, pick one tool. Don't try to automate your whole life in a weekend. Just let an AI help you write your captions so you can get back to the bandsaw. That's the real win.
All right, let's get to the project of the week, the end grain cutting board. Every time I see these, I think, that looks like a lot of work just to slice an onion.
It's a labor of love, Alex, but there's a functional magic to it. Think of wood fibers like a bundle of straws. In a normal board, you're cutting across the straws, snapping them. In an end grain board, your knife slides between the straws. When you pull the knife away, the straws spring back together.
So the board literally heals itself?
Pretty much. It keeps your knife sharp and the board looks pristine way longer. But man, you have to be careful. I remember my first one. I used red oak because I liked the look.
I feel a butt coming.
Red oak has pores like open sewer pipes. I finished the board, used it for a roast chicken, and 2 days later it smelled like, well, it didn't smell like chicken anymore. You have to use closed pore woods. Maple, walnut, cherry. If you use oak, you're just building a luxury hotel for bacteria.
And the glue up? I've seen people use enough clamps to crush a tank.
It's not about force, it's about flat. If your cuts aren't perfectly square, you're just creating stress points that will pop open the first time the board gets wet. Use Tite Bond 3. It's waterproof and food safe. And for the love of all that is holy, pop the grain before your final sand.
Explain that for the non-dust covered listeners.
You sand it smooth, then wipe it with a damp cloth. The water makes the little broken fibers stand up. It feels fuzzy. You sand those fuzzies off, and then you apply the oil. If you skip that, the first time the customer washes the board, it'll feel like a piece of 60 grit sandpaper.
So, the big takeaway for today, whether you're fighting titanium, building a skyscraper, or just trying to make a sandwich board that doesn't smell like a swamp, it all comes down to the prep.
Exactly. Use the right fluid for the metal, the right wood for the kitchen, and the right digital tools to keep the business side from drowning you. The goal isn't to work harder, it's to make sure the work you do actually lasts.
Stay sharp, makers. If you want to dive deeper into these learning paths, whether it's the trades, the business, or the DIY mastery, head over to the TigerDen blog.
And please, for my sake, keep your phones away from the polyurethane.